Okay, so we'll start. So I'm Andrea Pumphrey, and I am your District 1 Service and Cystic Fibrosis Director alongside Brandon, who's here to help me at the end. I will be talking to you guys about the Club Service Director. So let's see. Oh, there we go. So I'm just gonna briefly talk about all of the different kind of roles that the Club Service Director kind of holds and should help your club with. So we'll just go through each point at a time, and then I'll just explain kind of the roles and responsibilities under each one of those responsibilities. So just briefly, the roles are, you're kind of in charge of Kin Canada bursaries, National Day of Kindness, service reporting, cystic fibrosis, Canadian Blood Services, and organ donation. And the club service director is typically under club directors. So we'll start with Kin Canada bursaries. So that is the Hal Rogers Endowment Fund. So to start off, you're going to want to focus on raising money every year to do a yearly donation. So how your club chooses to raise the funds would be something that you guys could discuss. So at the beginning of the year, when you're creating a budget, you're going to want to allocate how much money you guys plan to donate. So whether it just be, if it's $100 your club does every year versus whatever it is, you want to put that in your budget so you know. And then you guys can discuss if there's a specific way, like some clubs can do fundraisers every single year where money raised goes to the Hal Rogers Endowment Fund. So that can be discussed. And then outside of raising the money for the funds, your club will want to start promoting the actual bursaries. So in October, you want to get out to the schools and you want to promote the actual bursary so that anybody in high school or anybody that's going to secondary education, they have a chance to kind of find that bursary and apply for it. And then making sure when you're promoting those that the applications are due in February. So you'll want to have an email, whether it be yourself or whether it be your club's email. So an email that those applications are due, and just make sure throughout the year that you guys are checking that email for those applications. And something important that our club found last year actually was we had somebody reach out to us and they let us know that they had applied but hadn't heard back. So somehow they had actually applied to the new email that Kin Canada made for every club. So it had went to like londoncanets@kincanada.ca, which we had not activated that account or weren't using it. So when we went on that account, we actually had 2 applications that had been submitted to that email that we would have never got if that person hadn't reached out to our additional email saying, hey, I sent this in about a month ago and I didn't hear back. So important for your clubs to make sure that they've got the right email out there and people are reaching it. And then once you've got those applications submitted, typically you'll have had a committee created already, and that committee will go through, they'll review and they'll submit the applications. If you have extra applications that you can't submit and you think they're worthy of submitting, or you just have extras anyways and you want them to get submitted, you can reach out to your fellow clubs. Last year, I think we passed along 1 or 2 names and they won for other clubs, which was kind of nice. So it gives everyone the opportunity to win. And it is $1,000 bursary to post-secondary education. National Day of Kindness. So that's February 19th. So again, at the beginning of the year, you're going to want to have in your budget how much money you guys plan to allocate to the National Day of Kindness. Can be anywhere, to $0 to $1,000. It's really whatever your club wants to spend. And then when you're discussing the budget, you're going to want to start thinking about what your club is going to do. So if you're planning on spending $0 on the budget, you're going to want to think of something that's going to cost $0. And there's lots of ideas on ICAN, ideas that start with, minimal cost, anything from, $10, $50, and then up to, $25 Tim Hortons gift cards. So there's lots of ideas for every club, depending on how much money you have, which is nice. National Day of Kindness is a great way to spread kindness, but we're also spreading awareness in our community. So that's a big one that we want to remember, that while we are celebrating the National Day of Kindness, we are making sure everyone knows when we're doing that act of kindness who we are. So they have the National Day of Kindness cards and stickers that you guys can hand out so that people are aware of what the day is for. Otherwise, some clubs just hand out, stickers that have their club on it, but just make sure that people don't just think you're some nice person out there packing their groceries for them. Make sure that they know that you are doing this as part of Kin Canada so that your community knows who you are. And then service reporting is also your responsibility. So you just want to make sure at the beginning of the year, you have some way that you're going to plan on tracking hours to submit at the end of the year. I suggest you don't just at the end of the year ask every member how much hours they put in. Try to have some like record keeping tool. So whether it be, each member that holds an event, they keep track of all of the hours. There's on ICANN, they have lots of different service tracking tools. If you just go right to ICANN and then under the service section, you can click service reporting. And at the bottom of that, they've got I want to say about 10 different types of tools that you can use for tracking service hours. And then just making sure that your club gets those service hours reported at the end of the year. And then for cystic fibrosis, you want to, same thing at the beginning of the year, start with a budget. If there's a certain amount that your club just typically donates, or whether you have an event that creates a donation every single year, you'll want to get that planned at the beginning of the year. Something that's starting to become a little bit bigger now within our organization is cystic fibrosis information nights. So whether it be something that your club or your zone wants to plan, that's something that's nice for other members, to learn more about CF and why we are so involved with them. And then this 2 cystic fibrosis awards, just keep in mind what they are. So you've got the Ian F. McClure Award, which is for an individual, and the Bill Skelly Award, which is for a club. So they both have similar criteria. It's, an individual or club that's passionate about cystic fibrosis and that has, a big event that raises lots of awareness and money for CF. And then the last 2 ones that are a part of your responsibilities would be Canadian Blood Services and organ donation. So just making sure that your club is donating blood when they can, and then raising awareness about organ donation. So I just put here what the Canadian Blood Service Partner ID is. So just making sure all of your members have that ID number so that when they are going to donate blood, that they are registering with Kin Canada. And that way the number is being tracked. You can go right on, when I go onto my app, it already has it connected that I'm with Canadian Blood Services, and we can see every year already how many people have donated and whatnot. So
just want to jump in there quickly, Andrea, and point out you don't have to be a member of Kin to use the partner ID. So you can share that with your family and friends. Anyone can use the Kin Canada partner ID and we still get credit for those donations. It's not restricted to current members.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we are wanting to increase our donations every single year. And what better way than to bring our friends and family with us. So I'll read these. So Melissa, I do agree with you. That's one thing that I believe our club does. We have a form that the president has every single year, and it says, each event and then each person's name, and we just automatically fill, how many hours we work on that, and then we can just tally it up at the end. It definitely is a very good way of tracking numbers, and then you don't have to at the end of the year. And then
and sorry, one thing that I know other clubs do is when the project chair puts together the project report, they tally up the hours. So even if you don't have a centralized location to collect the hours through the year, all you have to do is look at all the project reports and add them up from there. So it's still a little bit of work at the end of the year, but the hard part, keeping track of them all, is done throughout the year. As the project is done, the project chair has that information and it's recorded in the project report.
So, and then Oh, Dan, you found it. But for anyone who doesn't have it, because it's not naturally going to be sitting in front of you, if you just go to ICANN and then underneath service, you can just click on Canadian Blood Services. And just near the bottom, it tells you how to link your Canadian Blood Service account to Kin Canada. So it gives you the step-by-step so that you know how to put the partner in there with it. And then it gives you the option to choose, because every number is different based on the district. So the one that I gave you was District 1. But you can find it on ICANN under service.
I'm actually on ICANN and I'm not seeing.
Not seeing
Okay.
it?
Yeah, they don't have.
So you have to click once you go under.
Yeah, so you can find it if you're using the app, but there's no way to do it. Like, I know people who don't have smartphones, refuse to get smartphones. So maybe that's one thing that we can suggest to Lindsay, is that the partnership numbers are listed here, so it's easier to share.
Yeah.
So
I actually was, yeah, it must just be different on my phone, because I thought that, but it must have been, yeah, when I typed in partners, it came up.
Yeah, like if you're going on to the app, you can find it through there. A collect says partners, and then your district will show up. But if you want to just have the number before you go into the app, it's not listed on ICANN.
Yeah, that might be a good thing to put.
Okay, I'll leave that on your to-do list.
Yeah, I'll write that down. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, or concerns? Oh. Yes, so there is a place for clubs to go to find ideas for National Day of Kindness. So if you do the same thing, if you go onto ikin.ca and you go to National Day of Kindness, there is the project database as well as the ideas bank. I think the ideas bank, in my opinion, I find it a little bit more relevant. The project database just takes you right to all the projects that people have submitted. So they're not just necessarily National Day of Kindness projects, they're projects that anybody submits throughout the year. But the ideas one is really good, and they kind of separate it from, minimal cost to mediocre cost to a little bit more expensive based on how your club wants to allocate money.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Lori.
Well, the other thing I was going to suggest with National Day of Kindness is that if you don't already have a stamp or stickers with your club's contact information, to definitely do that, and maybe include the National Day of Kindness hashtag and even your own club's personal hashtag onto that, and encourage people to share their projects, and encourage the recipients to share to their social media as well. It's just another way to help spread. You can maybe snowball your idea throughout the day, and have the recipients then pay it forward. So it's make sure that you're using the hashtags.
Yeah, no, that is a good idea, Lori. Go ahead. I think Brandon.
Just on what Lori said as well. What we went and did in Stayner is just for pennies, we made business cards, something like that. And it just says, thank you for supporting the Stayner Kinsmen, with our social media tags there. So we can hand those out at National Day of Kindness or any event we do throughout the year. And it will direct people straight to our Instagram and Facebook pages. And it's been a fantastic way to just kind of remind people who we are, so they don't think it's the Lions or Rotary or someone else out doing an event or a service project. And it's a great way to just get new people to the page and possibly get interested in joining the club as well. So for pennies, you can order a few hundred of these business cards, and it's well worth the money.
And then you have them for other events and stuff if you need as well. Go ahead, Karen.
Just wondering, I was just looking at the calendar, and the Saturdays in February for 2023 are the 18th and the 25th. I noticed that on ICANN, they're still showing the 2022 dates, which was February 19th. Last time I was talking to Lindsay when we were putting the district planners together, they hadn't decided on what the 2023 National Day of Kindness date was. Have you heard whether, I mean, the website hasn't been updated, so I don't know whether they have finally decided whether it's going to be Family Day weekend or the first Saturday after Founder's Day. So because it can be the same weekend, but I've heard different definitions from National. So I didn't know whether they'd made a final decision yet or not.
I don't think I have heard anything. Me and Brandon also both weren't able, unfortunately, to make it to the weekend, whatever that weekend is with all the service directors and CF. I've made it through a little bit of, they didn't send us out any notes, unfortunately. It was just the 6-hour recording. So I'm slowly making my way through the 6-hour recording, but I
Gotcha.
haven't, there's been nothing directly saying this is when National Day of Kindness is.
Okay.
Now,
If you-
Karen,
We'll
when,
send an email out. We'll get an answer though,
Yeah.
coming into the call.
Okay, perfect.
quite often our club, if it isn't a Saturday, and for the longest time, we were actually doing a weekday because we were doing things like going to businesses and or first responders or things like that. So we were actually using a weekday. We tend to try and do it right on Founder's Day on the 20th. So that's an option as well. If they haven't come up with a thing, you can decide to just do it whatever day. There isn't, I don't think there's a hard set fast rule.
No.
And some of the clubs have decided to do something similar multiple times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's never a bad time for kindness to happen.
And that's one thing that me and Brandon are trying to encourage and promote this year, is National Day of Kindness is one day, but it doesn't mean that, we can't have month Day of Kindness or whatnot that, you spread it throughout the year. We've got 12 months of the year, right? We don't need to just do it once.
Yep.
So, and then Terry had asked, I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know if Brandon knows. I think the answer would be
yes,
that they
yes,
still
it
get
is.
made out to CF Canada. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And send your checks straight there.
Okay, thanks. Actually, I do have another question, Andrea.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you want to tally, or headquarters want to tally up our service hours and our service dollars for the year, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure of that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi. Can you give out the number for the blood donor donations for people that are gonna watch it later on?
Yeah, I can post it on the Facebook, and we'll post it like throughout the year, just as a reminder. And I'm gonna do what Karen asked, and I'm gonna email Lindsay, and I'm gonna ask her to put it right on ICANN as well, so that it's available there.
Okay.
But I'll make sure that it's posted a couple of different places, just so, and I have it written down now. Somebody had asked me at one point and I didn't even know what it was. So that way, and my dad has it memorized. So anybody who needs to know it, you can just message him at any time. So, but yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure that it's around so people can find it.
Okay. If there are no other questions, I just want to thank Andrea for agreeing to take this on and run with it and put this information together for us. I know service director is a position that some clubs have gotten away from. So hopefully this will be an easy way to possibly rejuvenate it within positions or within clubs as an executive position. Since we do have more national partners now that we want to serve. So thank you so much for taking this on, Andrea. Well done.
And if you guys are your club service directors, or let the club service director know, you know, that you're kind of like our little, me and Brandon's little buddies, right? You know, we can work side by side together because we're all essentially doing the same thing. So, you know, any information you may need, me and Brandon probably will have it, or we can definitely get it for you. And just a reminder that we want to be out there at all of your events and, you know, be a part of all of that service that you guys are doing. So make sure that you let us know when you're having those events, and we'll do our best to make our way out there. So thank you for all coming out. I look
Thank
forward
you,
to that.
Andrea, for keeping it short and sweet.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.